Welcome everyone. Today I got DJ Young with me. We're going to do a little virtual lesson. DJ, thanks for joining me, man.
Yeah, dude, I'm super pumped to be here.
I filmed a bunch of games getting prepped for this, trying to find a good one where I can find some points for you to critique, because I'm really excited about this, because a lot of the stuff I see online is like lower level instruction. And so I'm hoping we can glean some kind of higher level strategy play from you from this stuff. So I'm like a 4-5-5-0 type player, and I filmed a game where I was the worst person on the court, and I just took about 6-7 points of the ones I've lost and a few I won, and I'm just going to show them to you, and just want you to kind of point out things, whether it's strategy, shot selection, technique, just anything you see from me, and we'll just kind of go through these points, and we'll see what we pull out from it. So I'm going to share my screen. And as I pull this up, like, if you guys don't know who DJ Young is, you've been on tour for, oh man, you were one of the OGs. I feel like you were early. You've been touring for a few years. I've been following your journey the whole time, and you're an incredible player. It's been a lot of fun watching you play.
Yeah, thanks, bro. Yeah, I appreciate that. I've been playing ever since the tour came out, because I started playing in 2018. I think they came out around 2021 or so. I played APPs, PPAs, MOPs. I don't think I have a PPA title. I think I have like PPA silver medals. I'm pretty, one or two there, and then I have like MOP title, and I have APP titles. So I've been playing for a while.
Been playing for a while. You even invented like your own shots that has been incorporated across the game.
Yeah.
I remember when we first met, and you did one to me, and it's tough to handle.
Did I do the tomahawk to you?
The tomahawk, yeah.
I feel bad.
That means you were trying a little bit.
Yeah, I was definitely.
Or just showing off. Probably just showing off.
I'm trying to make picture-in-picture full screen. Okay, I'm gonna put the points of full screen so I can really pay attention to it.
Yeah, sounds good. All right, we'll play this first one, and we'll just watch through it, and then we can kind of go back and rewatch portions if you need to.
Okay, so from the very beginning, right? Like, your partner hit a normal serve. The return was actually pretty weak, so I would say from that specific point right there, like, I would go all the way into the kitchen line and almost like try to crash the actual following shot, right?
Follow my drop?
Yeah, like there's no
more aggressively.
Stay back there. Like, you already hit a drop from inside of the court, and you gave like 2 steps. Like, the court's not that big, right? And you're already dropping from inside of the court. So I would say, like, I've seen you, you're pretty tall. You're probably like taller than me. So it's like to just kind of make your presence bigger. Like, I would be hitting that shot. Like, look at the height of the ball when it's coming to you.
Yep.
And look at where you're making contact, right? Like, if you just like move in quicker while being in, balance and control, like, that ball would have been a lot higher, and the point would have been over a lot quicker. And you would have won the point too, actually. I would say, like, yeah, if they hit a really good return, I think it makes total sense that,
the split step mid-court, otherwise be a little more aggressive with that.
Take your third, maybe take your fifth, and then, work your way in, right, quote unquote. But if you're hitting a drop from inside of the court, like, hit that drop and then, like, get right to the kitchen, because most likely they're going to try to keep you back regardless, and it's not going to have a lot of pace. So, like, people talk about, like, proper pickleball or whatever. It's like think and reset and drop. But it's like, if the ball's high, just fucking whack it. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
So that's kind of what I see there.
Dude, that's really good. I never would have pulled that out.
And then that's a good thing. You moved them around. You took that ball. That's perfect. On that one, that's a good thing too. I think some of those you could take out of the air.
Yeah, I've had people tell that me before, like, use my length a little better.
Yeah. How tall are you?
I'm 6'2".
Yeah, dude. Fuck yeah. Those could be attacks for you.
Like, am I standing too tall?
So here's the thing. The way that I see it, right? Like, I'm 6'2". I have, like, I'm not super tall, but I have, like, longer limbs. Like, my arms are pretty long for my height. Mm-hmm. So the best way that I can explain it, like, yes, you could get lower, but I also understand that 6'2" is not that easy, right? Like, you really have to get much lower. But there's like a very, like, there's a small difference in somebody's game. Like, when you watch, like, J-Dub, for example, like, he's not the tallest guy, but how he starts the speed up, like, he's always here, and then if he's going to dink, then he'll, like, switch, and then he'll dink. You're almost doing the opposite. Like, you're looking for the dink more than you are for the speed up. So I don't think it's necessarily like a getting low or like a height problem or I don't know how to hit that shot problem. I think it's more the fact that like you should be always leaning, trying to look
Hmm.
for that ball out of the air. And then if it's like too low, then you can either dink it or you can let it bounce and hit a slice dink. But to me, it looks like you're very neutral, and then you're kind of like cut to hit a dink more than having your wrist already forward so you can flick. Does that
Okay.
make sense?
Yeah, just the mindset switch. Look for the speed up, prep for the speed up rather than the other way around.
Yeah, exactly. And I just think here specifically when and I'm only bringing this. I've only seen two things, but I'm only bringing this because just from the actual beginning of the point where you hit a good drop and you didn't follow it in, like you're not thinking aggressively enough to begin
No,
with,
I don't.
right? So if you're not cracking that first one, you're definitely not cracking like a ding that's kind of there for a speed
Yeah,
up.
like a
You see what I'm
50-50.
saying?
Yeah.
So I would say like if you go watch. I think J Dub's the best. If you watch Ben back in Dink, he does it all the time too. Where like you'll see this, and he's like, "Oh, never mind," and he'll like kind of do this. Oh, never mind, he'll kind of do this.
Yeah. Yeah, that makes sense. It's a lot easier to switch from looking for a speed up to a dink than trying to change from a dink to a speed up because you have more time the other way around.
Well, exactly. And whether it's a dink or whether it's somebody hitting the ball at you, right? Like where you're in no man's, like the ball's here, you might as well just fucking rip it, even if it's in no man's. If you have a good shot. Now, if it's slower than your knees or so, or like if you're really gonna have like a trouble hitting it hard, or if you hit it from too low, then it's always gonna go high first. Then yeah, you want to reset that ball. But anything that's kind of like waist or above, like there's no reason to hit a reset on that,
Hmm.
unless you're like really out of balance or unless they really cut you off guarding, like sitting here and the ball's here. You know what I mean? But anything
Right.
that's coming at you up here, like or even from waist, I think it's a really good opportunity to get aggressive.
And then, okay, so when I'm thinking more aggressively, I'm looking for the speed up. If on those like 50-50s, are you thinking more pace? Or are you thinking like more locations?
I'm thinking keeping it low to the net.
You're just thinking low
Yeah, because like
pace.
yeah, exactly. Like as long as you keep, a good amount of pace, because sometimes up pace works, but if you can outpower someone, it's gonna work more often than not. And then secondly, you want to keep it low, right? So if you hit it really hard, but you hit it to someone here that's any good, and you're playing like 5-0 level, like all of
They're
you guys
gonna.
are good, that ball's going straight down at your feet, points over, right? Now,
Yep.
if you keep it to kind of like the hips area or maybe even like stomach instead of chest, like that's a lot harder to deal with from like a shot or standpoint, right? So I would say just kind of keeping the boat low is what's going to make you a better player regardless.
That's interesting. I feel like every video I've ever watched is very focused on like location, whether it's hip, whether I don't know, like height is number one, then location, then I guess like height, speed, and location is kind of your priority list.
Well, height in the sense of like
Height of like keep it low to the
over
net.
over the net, right?
Yeah.
Yeah, because I mean, think about let's say Ben Johns, right? Like if Ben Johns was dinking, like his shots are like almost skimming the net every single time. Like they feel knifey because there's like no room for you to be like, oh, I have this much, space to do this with. But when you have somebody dink that the ball's kind of like looping over the net every time, like let's
Hmm.
say like Adam Stone back in the day, which back in the day it worked, but nowadays it doesn't. Like he would make it all the time, but it doesn't apply enough pressure, right? So he'll do like this roll ding cross court and it goes over, which nowadays wouldn't be as good. And he makes it often, but the ball kind of like lofts over the net and it's kind of too high. Nowadays that would be somebody speeding it up somewhere.
Yep.
So it's like you want to keep the ball kind of like always going forward, hopefully not as much loft.
I do. We're only on point one. This is good. Point two. I'm serving this one. I can't remember what this one is.
See,
I
that's a perfect drop. See what I'm saying?
follow that a little better, but I didn't even get to the kitchen still.
You need to move up here, like way more. Yeah. Okay.
So one thing before you kind of dive in here, I've always like when I speed up the ball and then I look for the counter, like my follow up, I'm always
Mhm.
stronger there. When my partner speeds up the ball, I don't feel like I see the ball as well.
Yeah.
And like this is one of those scenarios where like my partner sped this up, and it should be a ball I crunch, but I don't.
I see what you're saying. Go back to the beginning again. See, like you take that third, like you should be just up there. Like by now you
Just
should be up there.
yeah, like that was a great third, and I'm not even to the kitchen.
Yeah.
Totally see what you're saying. Still not even there yet.
Yeah, exactly. So here, speed up, boom. I see what you're saying. So in that specific scenario, like it just seems like you're leaning to your right more than you are leaning to your left, right? So then you're kind of like late. It's hard to tell, and I could be slightly wrong, but here, see, like as soon as the ball went cross court, you were leaning right.
Mm-hmm.
So
Yeah,
I
I did. I
feel like
shifted that way.
yeah, so I feel like you have to play almost like a percentage game, right? Like he's hitting go back like 2 seconds if you can. So he hits a dink here, then he's gonna speed up this one, which is good. Then he goes middle, kind of. Yeah, I mean he's middle because he's
Yeah.
just really shifted over. So I feel like if if that ball is not what's his name? That's Nick, right?
Yeah, that's Nick.
Yeah, if Nick is not hitting the ball way further past his backhand, so if he's not hitting it to his left way more, then you should be just sitting really heavy backhand regardless, whether it's two hands or whether it's one hand. Like you should be like attacking the middle, right? But that should be honestly whether your partner's hitting a dink or a speed up, like you should be heavy middle regardless, right? Because your partner hit a backhand speed up from like the baseline, and then you're not like leaning forward looking for the next ball to like attack, right? So
Yeah,
I
and
guess
like looking at my positioning here too, like I'm standing straight up and I'm not leaning forward and looking to be aggressive. Like, is my body positioning an issue a little bit there? Like, just with my too neutral?
I think so. I honestly think it's more mental than it is physically getting lower because you can lean without doing a squat, right? Like you can
Mm-hmm.
do a J-dub lean, Simone leans, Vivian David squats, right? So it's like, I mean, Vivian David is like a whole specimen of
Yeah.
herself. Talent, right? Like he's like these people are in constant like insane squats all the time. Like I think it's great if your body can do it. I also know like then like it's like if you're 6'2", like it's just fucking it's harder to do it. Like it is what it is. Like in my case, like I'm heavy. I'm like almost 200 pounds. Like I'm not squatting like 24/7. Um, so to me, it's more like you should be like like mentality wise, like it's a really easy fix if you're just like always looking for the ball. I just think you're getting too comfortable in the like in the sense of just reacting. Oh, like I'm here and then I'm gonna like do this. You know what I'm saying? So
Mm-hmm.
you all because you're not really well, I don't know this, but because you don't look to me like you're very aggressive, like you should switch your mindset to like, okay, I'm gonna be aggressive because I can always rely on being defensive because that's what I'm actually good at, right?
Yep.
So let's say, for example, like if you're really good at covering middle, right, but you suck at covering your backhand, you're gonna cover your backhand first because that's the weak spot, and then you're gonna react to the middle naturally because that's what you're good at. So you want to trick yourself. So in this case, because you're kind of like always leaning back and very neutral, you're already good at that. Like you're already gonna like reset that one or make that third or whatever it is. Like I would change my mindset to like, okay, I'm gonna try to attack, and if I can, then I already know that I can go back to the neutral really fast. But
Yep.
because you're neutral so often, going to the offensive is just either too late or it's just not there. That's what I see.
Yeah. No, that resonates.
But I will say though, like I would probably not overthink the getting super low. Like yeah, you can have a soft knee bend, like athletic stance, like which you have right here. But I think it's more like the leaning. Like you just need to
Yeah,
be
just leaning and then the mindset
yeah.
change.
Yeah, it's not like you're fucking like saying, you're not like
Right.
this.
Right. 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 Yeah, little stuff goes a long ways. I can't remember what all these points are.
It's all good. Is it frozen or are you not playing it right
Oh,
now?
it was playing. Was it not going for you?
No, you're stuck in that super athletic position right now.
Oh, it's moving for me. All right, that was the return, the drop. Nick got lucky. That was the edge of his paddle.
It's a good counter. Nice. Go back one more time.
So like that's like a super obvious ball to attack.
Yeah.
Like those are typically the only ones I attack.
See, but you're doing it off your forehand more than you're in your backhand. Like that on your backhand, you might have like let it bounce from what I've seen, or like not attacked.
Mm-hmm.
Like I feel like from what I'm seeing, and then again, it's like 3-4 points, right? But like on your forehand, you're open faced here, so
Mm-hmm.
you can attack those a lot easier. On your backhand, you're like cut like backwards to dink because that's how you proper dink in pickleball. So then like this one is easy because you can just let it drop and then dink. But this one you have to like actually like go here and pronate instead of go here to attack. You see the difference? Basically, like the way you hold your paddle and the way you play on your forehand side, whether it's defensive or aggressive, it's very similar because you're very open faced. You're leaning forward, right? Your paddle face is here at all times. So then if it bounces, all you have to do is drop it, right? And then you think, and then you're chilling.
Yep.
When you're on your backhand side, the form of hitting the attack and the form of hitting the dink actually requires a change of like wrist. I mean, I'm not a PT, right? But like
No,
it
I think I
requires
follow on.
a wrist bend. So like when you're attacking in your back and you want to bend forward, when you're dinking, you want to bend backwards, and that's what you're not doing properly on your backhand side. Because on the forehand side, you are doing it. You're reaching in, you're looking for the ball. The ball it wasn't high, it was a normal ball to attack, right? And then you follow it up. On the backhand side, you're always like, oh, let me dink this ball. So then you're always here instead of here. But
Okay,
in the
yeah,
forehand side, you don't have that problem because you're always going to be here naturally. Like
gotcha.
imagine if you're
And
backhand.
I could do that off my backhand, but I think you're right. I don't hold the paddle the same way initially.
Yeah, initially you don't. So I feel like you just want to be like, I don't know what the word is, but you want to be leaning and using your wrist in a backhand flick position and then readjusting to the backhand dink.
Gotcha.
Where on the forehand you already do it. Yeah, nice.
So we already hit 20 minutes. Do you have time for a couple more points?
Yeah, let's do it. I'm good.
Okay. We'll go to this next one. Oh. Is it playing?
Yeah. Good serve. Nice drive. Nice. That's funny. Let's hear it one more time.
Nick's really good at those like angle dinks, and he'll get me pulled out wide sometimes, like on this one, which kind of started
Yeah.
the issues.
I mean, it's a high dink, though. You did the right thing covering right there. I think the biggest issue there, it's the fact that so looking at it from just a logical standpoint, right? Like your partner popped it up, which is fine, and then you have to cover heavy middle, right? Like that's just what needs to be done. So there, and then he pops it up. You have to cover heavy middle, which you are. Like if you look at the paddle position, you're chilling. He went heavy cross court, probably because he knows you, right? You guys probably
Yeah.
play enough to the point where he knows.
I mean, that's kind of his default though. Like he likes to do that.
Okay, well that's important too, because if it is the default and he doesn't really go middle with it, then and you know that, then you shouldn't be hitting or sitting so heavy middle. So patterns is a big thing, right? Like when you watch, let's say Thomas Wilson play, when he runs around his backhand, which he does a lot,
Mm-hmm.
when he's off the court, he'll almost always dink. When he's middle, he'll pull and then he'll sit, right? Because he's actually like inside of the court.
Yeah.
So it's like, yeah, he's hitting a forehand, but depending on where he's hitting it from, it varies what the outcome is going to be, right? So he's going to make it most of the time. He's really, really good. But you also have to be aware, like, okay, like, he's hitting a forehand here, but I'm probably safe because he's off the court, sort of thing. So just recognizing some patterns.
Resident tendencies. And like Nick has, I mean, he can obviously go middle with this.
Yeah.
I don't know, like, do you ever, I mean, looking at this video now, I wasn't thinking this when I was playing, but like when you look at his paddle position, it's like, okay, this is an obvious, like he's not pushing this down the middle. Like that's going to be a dink.
Well, it's tough to tell because you lifted and
do you look at that?
I don't really look at that because I feel like in pickleball, especially with like paddles nowadays, like it just takes a slight flick of the wrist, like change
Okay.
everything, right? So I
Hmm.
wouldn't worry about it too much. I would just say like make sure you're, keep your eye on patterns and stuff. But I mean, you covered that ball well. I think the issue is this one. Like I don't like you recovered. He didn't attack out of the air, right? Like that's a
Hmm.
high ball, but he let it bounce. So like you need to be punishing this. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. Why didn't I punish that?
You were in position. Like he didn't. So here's the thing. Go back a second again. If he was Dylan Frazier or me or Matt Wright, that ball, well, a lefty would have earned, but that ball would have been out of the air. And if you watch it out of the air, you were out of position.
Yep. Yeah.
Once
My
it
body was
bounced,
turned.
yeah, once it bounced, right, like right there, you're good. You're safe. So then I think your mentality now should be like, okay, like I popped up a dink, and it happens very quick, right?
Hmm.
Like now you just need to be like super aware of what's gonna go on. And I don't get the feeling, I don't get like the from watching this that you're like now looking to get attacked. Then again, you're kind of just like neutral,
Hmm.
right? So like if I hit a bad dink, like I'm like, okay, I gotta cover. If I hit a good dink, I'm gonna be like, okay, I'm gonna attack.
Okay. So in this scenario, like I'm being defensive and offensive at the wrong moments. It seems like
Yes.
in this moment, I like, okay, I pop it up for some reason. I'm looking for a counter when I should just try to neutralize, get back in the point. Yeah, like I'm trying to counter that. Like I was there. If I just block it
Well,
rather than
that's up to
counter
you,
it.
right? Whether you know your skill set better than I do, right? Like I think that's a fair block at the end. You just missed it. I think the first one I would just go. Me personally, I would go for a counter. That's what I'm good at, right? I'm not gonna try and reset their ball, especially if you reset too often. Like they're just gonna keep attacking you until you stop resetting. So it's kind of pointless, right? Because they're gonna if someone attacking you is gonna be in the long term more beneficial for them than you resetting everything, right? So
Hmm.
I just think like a lot of it is a change of like mentality shift where like you almost need to exaggerate everything that's going on, right? Like if Nick is might speed up middle, like you need to be middle. You don't have to. I don't want your paddle in the middle. I want you in the middle. Like everything needs to be over exaggerated a little bit more until you get really comfortable with it, right? In this scenario, when you popped it up, sorry, when Nick hit the cross and you recuperated, like your opponent gave you the time to get back into position, to get back into okay, like now I'm ready again. And physically you were. I don't think mentally you were like, okay, I'm looking for now, to just fucking destroy this ball.
Yeah.
You know, I think you were like, okay, I'm safe. And then he attacks you, and then you're like, oh, like I'm
You're like,
real
ah.
safe. You see what I'm saying?
Yeah. No, totally.
So it's like I would never assume that you're safe. That's I guess that's like my biggest thing.
That's
Like
the
I would just
story there.
never assume that you're safe.
Okay, we'll do one last point.
It's a good drive. Think. Ooh, that's a lofty dink, huh?
Yeah, it worked though.
Speed up.
He got me on the counter.
Okay.
Was
Interesting.
that an okay place to attack? That's I think the question here. He was kind of like showing line, and I think on this one I was like, oh, he's showing line. Let's go the other direction. But maybe he was baiting me.
Yeah, but here's the thing, right? Like, if you go middle with this specific shot, like, there's gonna be a forehand to be found, right? So, like,
Hmm.
here he dinks a wide cross court. As soon as you do this right here, whether he hits a backhand or the other guy hits a forehand, you're in trouble. You see what I'm saying?
Just because I'm in a bad position, or like
Well,
counter
you're
down the
not
middle.
right. So you're not in a terrible position. Like you're still inside of the court. Like you're chilling. You could technically, give one step to the right and then cover middle. But here's the thing. Like to me, speeding that ball from there at that lower point is just low percentage. Like truly. Like I think
So
even if
just
you
don't
hit,
speed that up.
I mean, I wouldn't. Like look at how low that is. Not that one. Sorry, this one right here. Like he hit a good dink. Like look at where it bounced. Like Look at how low you have to get. Your knees almost touching the ground. You see what I'm saying?
Uh-huh.
Now, the actual line looks more open in the middle, regardless. And I don't think you're even aware because you're looking at the ball. Like,
Yeah.
you think the middle is open right now?
No, and this one, I think I remember this one. Well, maybe it's in my head, but I feel like with Nick in particular, like he'll show you one thing because he wants you to go there. Like he
Yeah.
leaves it open because he wants me to go there. And I was thinking, oh, I'm gonna be tricky. I'm gonna go the other way with it.
hmm
And then I don't know, but maybe you take what he's given you,
I
even
mean,
if it's
I would. Here's the thing too, just from like a professional like pickleball standpoint, I've seen like 4 or 5 points, and you haven't hit a deep dink at all ever, right? So
Mhm.
this would be a really good situation. Let's say he's tricking you, right? Like let's say you're right. Let's say if you speed up down the line, he's gonna come with a forehand and like annihilate you. That's a really good scenario where you can hit a dink down the line just past the kitchen line to like push him back.
so not like a fully committed speed up. Just
Yeah,
get a
you don't.
deep dink, get it behind him.
Yeah, exactly. You don't have to hit the speed
Yeah,
up
that
yourself.
makes a lot of sense, and I could do that. Like I have that shot.
Yeah, 100%. I mean, if you can hit a speed up, you can hit a deep dink. Like
Yeah.
you for sure can, right? So I would say in the sense of just like your repertoire, right? Like I don't think that I don't think that is not that you don't have the shots. I think you have the shots. I don't think you're applying them at the right time in
Yep.
specific scenarios, right?
Yep. I agree.
Especially because what I'm seeing out of all these like 4 or 5 points that I saw is that you play very like every point is very similar, right? Like you take your third, you drove a couple, but even when you drive, you're not crashing. So then you're never crashing your third regardless, which I think
Hmm.
you sometimes should, especially if you hit a good drop or a good drive. I think you should crash and get to the kitchen. And then you tend to like just think a couple cross court, mostly slice. And then when you get your two hands, you mostly speed up. That's what I'm seeing. So I
Yeah.
don't I don't think it would be a bad idea to incorporate like, your two hands and dink two hands here and there, push one deep down the line, take a backhand out of the air and flick it. Just to like show something else.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I do dink cross court with the two. Like this shot you're just explaining, I never even thought about that. Like just doing like a deep, deep down the line. That makes so much sense now. Like being offensive and applying pressure in more ways than like just speeding it up. Like
Yeah, yeah,
set it up a
exactly.
little better, you know?
Yeah. And I will also add, and I'm not Ben Johns, and I don't know how he thinks, right? But just from playing myself, from watching people play and doing tape, yes, you want to look at the ball, to kind of know, like, you're gonna hit the sweet spot to some extent, but you need to be watching your opponents. And I think maybe not just you, but I think a lot of people, whether it's 5-0 or 5-5 or lower, like they're too focused on just let me watch the ball, like I need to make this shot, but like you really need to be aware of what's happening on the other side, because I would bet a lot of money that if you saw Nick in the middle itself, you would have not gone middle, right? Because even if he's baiting you line, he's middle, so he's going to be covered middle regardless.
Yeah, right.
So to me, the two biggest takeaways out of your game, I don't think there's anything mechanically bad. I think it's basically being more aware of what's going on the other side. And then I think the other one is like a slight like mentality shift. Like you're already good at neutral, you're already good at defense, right? Like that's kind of what I'm seeing out of the 4 or 5 points that I saw.
Yep.
So like you just need to force yourself to be a little more aggressive. And it doesn't have to be a speed up. It could be a slight more footwork. It could be getting to the kitchen a little quicker, applying a little more pressure, hitting a dink out of the air. There's 10, 20 different ways of being more aggressive. That doesn't imply hitting it hard all the time.
Yep. Sweet, dude. This is good. I'm gonna go mess with it. I'm playing later today. I'm gonna start thinking that way and see what we can do. Maybe we'll do this again in like 6, 8 months, and we'll see if anything's changed.
Yeah, sounds good, man. I'm actually gonna look for some clips of the being here and then like switching, and I'm gonna send you Ben Johns or something so you can see how they do it.
Okay. Sweet.
All right, thanks, Brad.
All right.
Appreciate it.
Thanks, dude.